Hello, beautiful people, and it is a wonderful morning to play one of the many RPG games, tabletop RPG games, solo RPG games that I have just sitting in my vault. Now, today's tea is a lovely Earl Grey, and I think that is very apt for the game that we're playing today. Today we are playing a game called Black Tea and My Saccharine Sweet Revenge. And I thought it was a very fun and interesting game, so let's get into some of the gameplay. Today we're playing Black Tea and My Saccharine Sweet Revenge. For this game you're going to need a journal, a pen, a deck of cards, and some dice. Specifically you're going to need 6d6, but I only have 5d6, so I'm substituting it with a d12 and just dividing any number that is higher than a 6 by 2, or matching the equivalent number. 7 is 1, 8 is 2, 9 is 3, etc., etc. For additional roll tables to keep things interesting, I will be using Roll and Play as a quick reference, since this game is meant to also be for more than just one person, although you can play it as a single person. For the game's premise, whoever has wronged your establishment must not know how capable of being petty you are. Or perhaps they did, and that's why they did it under the cover of secrecy. That you don't know who to blame or how this only makes the need for justice burn that much brighter in your chest. They don't know who they're messing with. And you have stubbornness in spades, your own cafe, and its patrons' gossip, and sweet, sweet revenge awaiting you. The ultimate goal of this game is to solve the mysteries with under a month. You have 28 days to solve who did whatever wrongdoing in your cafe. It is a game that you play for 1 to 4 players using the aforementioned tools. If you are unable to solve the mystery by the time that you have reached the end of 28 days, or if you have reached up to 17 failures, then you lose the game. To get started, you want to take your deck that you have. I'm using the Shinto Neko deck that a friend gifted me. This is just a simple deck of playing cards that I've separated out into 2 different piles, one with all of the plain numbers and the other with the face cards. This deck actually has a Shinto gate as a bonus card that you can include in your playing, and I will include it as like a special pull to help solve the mystery faster. You want to make sure that these cards are nicely mixed up, so that since this is a new deck for me, all of the cards are lined up one by one based off of their number, and that's what we don't want.
Let's create our character and business name and figure out who our clientele of this game is. Pulling from Roll and Play, we're going to use their character creation to come up with a character name. We'll be pulling from the commons name and the cute name because it just kind of fits the aesthetic of this game. We got a 16, so that means we're going to pull Rudok on the common name, and an 8 for the cute name, so that's going to be Scruff. Now that we've chosen a name, let's see what kind of person they are. Our thing suggests having 2 words for our temperament, so let's see how I can simplify this down. And we got a 19. They're friendly, but they get easily jealous of other people. It says to put down the work hours, but since it's just me, we're going to work a 9 to 5. Now let's choose our tea house name from the list of tavern and inns. I got a 10, which comes out to be Flaming on the first chart, and on the second chart, I saw that there was Kettle, and that just sounds like it would be a really fun name to have for a tea place, calling it the Flaming Kettle. Next up, I'm going to be choosing our clientele. I'm going with business people and retirees, because that just sounds like a nice place for a tea house. Now, so what scam has occurred? I got a 1, and this means a local farmer has collected money for a charity that doesn't exist. That would definitely weaken the trust that my little community has built up in the people and in my establishment. To start out playing, you pull 2 cards from the number deck, and you will always at least pull 2 cards. I will be rolling to pull more cards as we challenge and work with the different event. For our first pull, we have a 10 and a 4, and we need to get our dice to be lower than the 10 or the 4. We have to do this because they are the club and the spade, and if they are from the heart and the diamonds, then we would have to get higher than the cards that we pulled. We have to make sure that all of the dice are assigned to the different cards, and so we're going to assign 1 dice to the 4 and hopefully get something smaller than that, and maybe another one just in case, and then the rest to the 10, because I might accidentally roll dice that is just a little too high for the 10 if I have all of them on the 10. Let's roll for a 4, and we got 4 exactly, so we beat this card. Now for the 10, and we got 3, 6, and 9, so we just barely were able to beat that card. Now we get to pull from the face cards, and we got an ace of spades. Let's see what effects come from that on the chart here. It says, what will the city look like at this time next year if its current course continues uninterrupted? I imagine that our establishment is a big part of the community, so if it continues in this course, then it could potentially face some foreclosure from money problems.
So let's continue. I'll roll another d6. We have 2 cards again, and this time is going to be a 6 and a 6 of spades and a 2 of clubs. So we're going to assign 1 and hope for the best for that. And we assign the rest of them to the 6. Let's see if we can get lower. No, we don't. Nope, absolutely not. So day 3 is a failure.
Right, next we got a 5 on our roll, and so we pull 5 different cards. Since we got a couple of red cards, we need to get above the number for each of them, and since it's 5, we have fewer dice to assign to each card. Hopefully that should be easy with having 2 3s and a 7. So we got a 2, got an 8 exactly, and for our next one, we got a 2. Now this one's the tricky one. Ooh, we got a 4. We got lucky.
And for the last one, let's try and get under this. Oh no! So we succeeded all of these, but we failed the last one. So that means today is a failure, and we weren't able to get any information from the patrons. So one thing I forgot to mention is that each time you get a failure, something happens to your shop that you need to do. And since we have 2 failures in a row, let's answer each of these prompts together. Our first failure says, name 1 chore that has taken on a different meaning for you. And the second failure is name a shortcut that you take more often now.
For our first one, I think the chore that fell to the wayside or taken on a new meaning for us would probably be cleaning, and some of it would be like interacting with the different customers. And then for the second one, I think the thing that we struggle with or like have to take a different route for is because we're getting a lot of suspicious looks from people that we used to wave by, sort of like, you know, you're embarrassed by it, and it's that small town vibe, so there's just a lot of whispers going on.
All right, now that you've seen how this game is played out, I'm going to continue on and play it to the end and get back to you with the final story. Here's the story I've created for Black Tea and my Saccharine Sweet Revenge. As just a quick reminder, here are the tools that I used alongside my imagination. Day 1 was successful as the city took it seriously and put in more ramifications to help prevent things like this from happening in the future. But sadly, with several failures in succession, there has been increased paranoia among my customer base, leading Roderick Scruff to have to avoid the gaze of his customers on his way to work. Bookkeeping became a challenging task as he juggled trying to find out who robbed him while maintaining work. Anastasia, an old lady, pointed out the strange behavior of a former customer that could lead to some clues as she kept her ear to the ground, ending the week in success. Sadly, the beginning of the next week doesn't work out so well as Roderick Scruff is led to drinking and is a bit more aggressive with his customers, leading to more going away. Thankfully, our friendly local gossiping group of old ladies has found out that there is a detective that is also on the case to help try and find out who this thief is. The quality of the muffins, though, does suffer from all of the stress our baker is under. Restlessness begins to grow amongst the staff as someone has an allergic reaction to one of the teas, and we are forced to cover the medical bills for the poor person who had the reaction to it. Thankfully, a kind benefactor has stepped in and financially supported the cafe, offering up a wonderful sponsorship. This gives us space to piece together more clues to find who did this. A shipment of tea sadly got lost, leading there to be limited stock. Thankfully, someone from another town over heard of the catastrophe that happened to the shop and shared their insight on knowing where the culprit is. The stress of the situation is really getting to Roderick Scruff, but with the help of the detective, we were able to set a trap successfully in the next town over to prevent this from happening from someone else. One of the servers got cold feet and didn't feel comfortable participating in the trap, while the store owner from the town over was very grateful and gifted the shop more baked goods to help with the capture of the person. Frustrations grow as there is more pressure for this trap to succeed. Thankfully, the detective is on the case and has found out the name of the person who is the culprit. The culprit had some tricks of his own up their sleeve and was able to avoid some of the trap, but through teamwork, we were able to capture the culprit. Sadly, he was not secured very well and was able to escape his bondage, leaving us with 12 successes and 16 failures, meaning we did not win the game. Here are my final thoughts on the game. I give it a 6 out of 10 because it is playable and it is easy to understand and pick up. Sadly, my challenge with the game is that it leaves a little too open-ended as far as questions go, and so with it being only 2 pages, I don't think it's worth it for the price it was for. If it wasn't for the fact that I got it as a part of a bundle, I probably wouldn't have gotten this game. With a little bit more polish, pulling from different murder mystery novels, especially cozy mystery novels, I think the questions could be stronger and it could be an amazing game. But don't just take my word for the game, please go try it out for yourself to see how you like the gameplay and if it works for you. Thanks for joining me as I play through this game. I tried a few different things with the video editing. I hope you like it. I'm still trying to find my style with it that kind of works for me, something that balances out just my creativity without it being so much effort that I got overwhelmed, because that is a very easy thing to do when it comes to video editing. So I had a lot of fun making it, and thanks so much for joining me. The next game, I have a few more games I want to try and share with you. I just got to this one because the gourmet fight that I was working on is taking just a little bit longer than initially thought. Sorry, the cat is making a lot of noise today. And I have a lot of drawings and things that I want to share for this project, so it's just taking a little bit longer than I wanted it to. And that's okay. I'm having a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. So I will see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I look forward to sharing with you more different TTRPG and solo RPG games and adventures.